What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PlaybookGamer.com, and today we're going to look at the Temple spread playbook in College Football 25. Even though Temple hasn't been a good football program since the Matt Rule days, it doesn't mean that you can't use their playbook. There's some good stuff in here. Again, this is a spread playbook. Stan Drayton was the coach for a few years. Didn't do all that well. They got a new guy in from Sam Houston State. But either way, we're going to go through the formation, concepts, play types, and personnel. And hopefully by the end of the video, you'll have a good idea of what this playbook is all about. So I had somebody request help for this particular playbook. So hopefully this will definitely help you. So let's go through the formations first. So again, this is a spread playbook. So the bulk of this is going to be shotgun. But let's go to a few other formations first. We got one pistol formation, wing close. That's a 12 personnel formation. We got 6 plays here. Nothing too drastic. Just run, play action, a little drop back. We got actually a bit more drop back than you normally see. You actually got his little Z motion there with that Z spot. But again, it's there for a nice change up. Again, keep it in mind, 12 personnel. You're going to see a lot of that in this playbook. We got one single back formation, and that is single back wing, and that's another 12 personnel formation. We have 12 plays here. We got some run, again, play action. You do have some cool little tidbits. Now go back and look at this actually. So look at the formation. It is your 2 receivers are spread out like normal, but if you go to these plays, we got close versions of these. So I'm going to go ahead and just select this run play. So you have a handful of formations where your Z receiver comes in close like that, and it's just a typical play at that point. Okay, nothing too crazy there, but I just wanted to point that out. That could be easily overlooked when it doesn't look like the typical formation that you picked. So you got a few of those, and now you're back to some normal stuff. Wide zone, halfback toss, you got a drop back, you got an RPO from under center. There's not too many of those in the game. You got play action and just more running. Anyway, use these for change-ups if you don't want to go under center. But let's talk about the shotgun. So this is kind of where it's all at. Starting off, this is your only 2-back personnel formation. It is a 20 personnel look, split slot offset. There are 9 plays here. Then we got deuce close. Now we're back to 12 personnel with those 2 tight ends. 18 plays there. That's a lot for that oddball formation. Then we got wing, got 9 plays there. That's 12 personnel. Then we got the weak version of that. That's 12 personnel again. And then we got wing, halfback, weak, close. Another 12 personnel formation. And guess what? We have another one, wing, slot, offset. So if you like a spread offense, you want to be in the shotgun, but you need several 2 tight end looks, you got plenty of that with this formation, with that formation, and all of these right here. So let's go on. We got some 11 personnel. Going to be the rest of the playbook is going to be pretty much this. Doubles Y off. Again, it's 11 personnel with 15 plays there. We got the weak version of that. Then we got Y off trips. Then we got the weak version of that. Then we got Y off trio weak, 21 plays there. That's another 11 personnel look. Always look for the tight end, number 81. Then we got trio. Another 11 personnel. Then we got bunch open at tight end, 9 plays. Then we got bunch wide. It looks like a 4 wide set, but by default, it does have your tight end in there. Then you got spread, wide slot, another 11 personnel look. Then we have our lone 4 wide set. That is trips, halfback, weak. And that's it. There is no empty formations, no 5 wide. There's not a ton of playbooks that have that. But the bulk of it, it's going to be your 12 personnel, this stuff right here. Then you get into your 11 personnel, which rounds out the rest of it. But let's go to the very front of this. Let's go to split slot offset. So for this being the only 2-back formation in the entire playbook, it's got a really great mini scheme to it. So there's 9 plays. We got a motion double pass. We got an RPO read swing. I'm going to go ahead and call that. This is a fun little play. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, we'll just go to the halfback on this one. We got the numbers over there. Easy stuff right there. But notice all of these plays in this formation have this same look to it, the same pre-snap motion. So notice your number 1 halfback going out in the swing. We got the RPO version of that. We got a play action on top of that. Now we have an inside zone. Now you have your other halfback going the other way. We got a PA double post, then we got a PA Y cross. Then we got a motion spot. Now you get your number 1 halfback going the other way. You got the spot, you got another Y cross, and then you got a triple option play on top of that. So you got 9 plays here that all just kind of work really well together. This is its own mini scheme, and I really like that because, again, the rest of the playbook is nothing but 1-back looks. So if you need a little 2-back mini scheme built into your spread offense, defense, this is a great little setup. I really like how they put that together. So now let's go to deuce close. Now the rest of this, I'm going to kind of just gloss through them. We'll cover the concepts later on. I always like to look for the pre-snap motion stuff, and there's not a ton of it in this playbook. There's a ton of it in this formation, but the rest of it, not so much, but we're going to go through them anyways. So we got deuce close. We got 18 plays here, and you're not going to find a lot of pre-snap motion in these condensed formations, but to have 18 plays out of this really oddball formation tells you a lot about how important this formation is. I highly suggest you practice with this one. There's just a lot of neat stuff, a lot of mirrored concepts, as you see right there with bench and stick and even mesh. Then we got wing. Let me go through here. I don't think we got any pre-snap motion there. What about wing halfback week? We only got 6 plays. We don't have any motion there. I think we got some jet sweep action, and I think when we get to the 11 personnel, but oh, here we go. That's right. So here's a little pre-snap motion, but these three are kind of different from each other. So the double cross has your halfback going out on a wheel. So this is technically mesh with like a shallow cross built into it. Like I'm going to call a cover 0. I'm going to try to pull this off. But whenever you see a cover 0 or at least a cover 1, you got several options here. But the whole play is really designed with that halfback going out wide like that. And then you're going over the top and see if you can make a play with the halfback. Again, it comes down to just making good plays there. But either way, I thought that was an interesting little play. But you notice those other 2 plays that had pre-snap motion. You got an inside zone split. You got your outside tight end coming in and then cutting back for you. Then you got a PA slide that's built on top of that. Doubles Y off. This is our first 11 personnel look. Do we have any pre-snap here? Yeah. So here's our jet sweep series. If you need a little bit of that, you got some of that in here. You got your basic jet sweep. You got the verticals on top of that. And you got the basic halfback run. You got the weak version of that formation. We'll go through here. There is no pre-snap motion there. What about Y off trips? Here we have that same tight end motion. We got a zone split. We got the play action on top of that. And we got a read option on top of that. So those 3 plays work really well together. Let's go to Y off trips weak. Do we have any here? Yes, we do. So there's that same halfback swing motion. We got a Z spot, the basic swing, and we got a switch concept to go with it. You go to Y off trio weak. Do we have any motion there? We do not. What about trio? Most of the time you have these true trip sets, you're not going to find much pre-snap motion in them. Bunch open, tight end, going to be the same thing here. Bunch wide, the more spread out you get, the less pre-snap motion you will see. Doesn't mean that it won't be in there, but I'm just kind of saying, just expecting more from the 12 and 11 personnel formation. So there's no motion there. Trips halfback weak. I don't think there will be any in here either. So you notice there just wasn't a lot of pre-snap motion in there, but there's some. I mean, if you need it, but I just really wanted to cover those. Now, you do not have to use pre-snap motion. There are plenty of these plays in here that all work really well together without the need of pre-snap motion. So you kind of get the idea. A lot of 12 personnel looks. Then we got this nice little 2-back mini scheme. Then you get into your 11 personnel stuff right here. And I like how they've combined. They got the normal and a weak version of like a little bit of everything. So doubles Y off, there is that. And then it's the weak version. Here's Y off trips. Well, it gives you the weak version of that. So these 2 formations work really well together. Of course, doubles Y off weak. And this one, all 4 of these formations blend really well together. And you got trio, bunch open tight end. Again, it's a lot of cool combination of things that I really like. So we've talked about personnel. Let's look at that a little bit further. So again, the bulk of this playbook is going to be 11 personnel, but not close behind it is this 12 personnel stuff. There is a lot here. Now, you look at the play counts, 6, that's not a lot of plays. 12 is okay, but 18 and 9, I mean, there's more than enough here if you are a 2 tight end fan, and from various sets too, from single back, from pistol, or from shotgun. 23 is just your goal line. There is the funky little 2-back look with a split slot offset. You only got 1 personnel formation for it. 32 is your QB kneel. 21 is your clock management. And 10, you got your lone here, trips, halfback, weak. All right, let's go talk about the concept. So we've kind of glossed over mini schemes and how some of those jets or those pre-snap motions work and whatnot. You can create mini scheme out of those. But let's talk about the concepts themselves and really what makes up this playbook. Notice the play counts for a lot of these. These are really low numbers compared to some other playbooks that got like 300 plus plays. 350 plus. This one looks like it may have, well, we can go over here to play type. You can see here, it's probably got 250 or so plays. Not a big playbook. You don't need a big playbook. You don't need 300 plus plays to be successful. But let's start off with the runs. Inside zone is going to be your go-to here. You have 19 of these. This is the most common run concept in the entire game. You got different ways of doing it. You got zone split. You got jet sweep, the fake off of that. It's still the same thing. It's still inside zone, but maybe with a little window dressing in a couple different areas. But what's cool with this is this playbook really complements inside zone with outside zone. Outside zone is not very popular in this game. Yes, it's in the playbooks, scattered all over the place, but 9 is actually a really high number. What's even better is most of these plays are from the shotgun. It's not just the under center. You only got one from single back right there. So I really like that. So if I'm a big time zone running scheme guy, I want both plenty of inside and outside zone, and this playbook gives me that. Again, 9 is a really high number. But if you need a little gap scheme stuff, you got some counter. Here's 7 counter plays. If you need a little bit more than that, there's your power. So power and counter will go together. You do got a couple ISOs. You got a halfback direct, believe it or not. There's not many of these in this game. I'm going to go ahead and call that just because it's been so long since I've used it. But basic halfback direct, it's super quick, as you can tell. Really, really quick, very simple and direct, no pun intended. So you have a halfback direct built in, but the other ISO, I'm pretty sure is the goal line play, and it is halfback dive. So we've talked about counter power. We got 5 draws. So these draws are going to be complementary to the rest of your run game, especially if you do any drop back whatsoever. 5 is more than enough. We also got a couple sweeps, but I don't know if you'll use these much. Again, one of them's from goal line. Then the other one's from single back wing. And you actually have a trap play. You just complement that. You throw that in there with your power plays. All right, let's look at the options. As you can see, we got less option plays than run plays. Starting off, this is I guess an RPO heavy playbook, even though it's not a very big playbook. But we're going to start off with 7 RPO peaks. Now, this is coming from different ways. You notice you got like flats, RPOs. You got a bubble right there. You got an alert screen. You got a peak. It's a little bit of a variety right there. We do got an inverted veer. We got 2 load options, so it's technically speed option. And what I've talked about a few videos ago, they have fixed the pitch in this game, which is great. So now it works a little bit better. Let's see if I can make this look halfway decent. It's just more forgiving in terms of the timing you have in order to pitch it. So I'm going to try to do this one more time. Let's see. Yeah, a lot more forgiving on the pitch than it was before. That same timing right there, I probably would have pitched that thing about 15 yards behind the halfback. So you got a couple speed options in there if you need it. You got 9 read options. This is actually a low number, so this kind of gives you a hint that this isn't an option-heavy playbook. It's got a little bit of what you need if you need it. Again, you got 9 read options. Do you need 30? No, 9's plenty. Those are those 2 speeds. You do have a triple option play. That's that from that 2-back set. We got 5 RPO reads. And again, notice we got like a Y flat. We got a glance post. We got a bubble with the glance on the back side. We got another Y flat. People really seem to like the Y flat stuff. I think it works pretty good. You just got to read the backside corner and see if you can, work off of that. But it's in there if you need it. But again, when it comes to RPOs, there's a nice variety here. And speaking of, the bulk of what you have here is supposedly RPO alerts. So we got true alerts with those little out routes by the receiver. We got some bubbles, more bubbles, and then we get into a little shock. Think LSU 2019, a lot of slot fades and whatnot. You got a little bit of that in there. There's that glance again. There's another RPO shock. We got another bubble, and we got another glance route. Yeah, you can call that slant if you wanted to as well. So notice we got plenty of RPOs for as small of a playbook that it is. Let's look at the quick passes. So we got 5 Omahas. This is actually a really high number. If you like the go slot combo, I'm a big fan of it. It's a tale as old as time. It's been around for the longest time. Let's see if I can get, nope. I'm going to just run at it. Let's see. Nope. My quarterback's not fast enough. Either way, I love Ohio. Most playbooks barely have 1 or 2 of them in there. You got 5 in here if you need it. But notice Ohio, like the drive, that player right there in the middle, the out route is much deeper than the slot outs you see over in gun spread Y slot out. So just kind of keep that in mind. But either way, you got 5 of those. You got 1 Omaha. You got 9 slants. If you're going to have that many slants, you're going to have that much stick. So slant and stick tend to go together. You come over here and notice you got Y stick. What's that backside route? That's a slant. Again, these 2 go together. So the bulk of your quick passing game is going to be from this right here. So kind of keep that in mind. But again, you got enough Omaha to play with as well. Let's look at the medium passes. So don't expect a huge amount of number for any one thing here. We do have 5 mesh for any of you air raiders out there. We got 4 Salems. We got 5 slot crosses, and we've looked at several of these. You notice from that 2-back look, that motion Y cross. And we got P verticals. Look at that P read. What's that slot doing? It's a crossing route. Then you got 4 choice, so pretty much any play that's got an option route, they're going to dump it here, and 4 is low enough. If you're not an option route guy, this is a great playbook for it because there's not much of it in here. You got 8 curls, so any type of curl or a hitch, they're going to dump it here. We got 5 double moves. We got 4 drives. We got 1 levels, and we got 4 shallow cross. So drive and shallow cross go together. A dig and a shallow go in the opposite direction. That is shallow cross. If they go in the same direction, it's this right here. Then you got the more souped up version, which is just like this drive Y corner, where you got a mesh on top of the dig on top of that. Again, all 3 of these levels, that's just drive on steroids. All 3 of these work really well together. Then you throw in mesh, then you got more than enough drags to play with. This is another reason I really like this passing attack out of this playbook. I love drag routes. I love digs. They're just very simple. You got 12 smash. This is actually a really low number. Most of the playbooks, if anybody who's been playing this game knows, smash is super popular. It's the most popular medium pass concept in the game, but there's only 12 in here, but there's enough in here if you need it. You got 10 spots. So this is the really interesting thing. Spot is more of a West Coast / pro style passing concept, but there's 10 of them in here, which I think is pretty neat. So I'm going to call Z spot. Let's see if I can make this look halfway decent. Let's just go up against like a random nickel. So you usually have a backside something. In this case, we got a post. Then we got the spot, the triangle concept on the right. I think this is just the neatest thing. Spot's really cool, and you have a ton of it in here, which I just really like. So that triangle concept is usually a zone beating concept, and Z spot, you got plenty of it in here. Look at that. And it's all different variety. You even have a left-handed version. Look at this X spot. There's not many X spots in this game. Well, there you go. All right, we got 1 Texas route, and there it is. Most of these playbooks don't have many Texas routes in there. So the medium pass cons, I love the whole medium thing. Again, drives, shallow crosses, mesh, and the spot, all that's excellent. Let's look at the deep. We actually got more deep passes than we do mediums. We got 5 floods. So if you need a flood concept on one end and a backside dig on the other, you got plenty of that here. You got 2 divides. You got 8 Portlands. You go back and look at Portland. That is just a post on one side with a dig on the other. Go back over here, you got 8 of these, just a different variety from the close formations, more of the bunch ones, you got more spread out. We got 17 shot plays. This makes perfect sense because of our run game, a lot of inside zone, outside zone. What are you doing on top of that? You're doing play action. You're going over the top. We got 10 comeback routes. I love comeback. It's excellent against man. You throw that with a few backside zone beaters, and you got plenty enough to do damage with. We got 3 daggers, just more dig with a go over the in the slot. Double post, 5 of those. We got 15 verticals. That's pretty common in most of these playbooks to have that many verticals. We got 5 meals. What is meals? Another post and another dig. Again, you're just throwing, it's like Mexican food. It's the same 5 ingredients, just put in different parts on the plate. No different with a lot of these concepts. So you go back to meals, 5 of those, and then you got 4 switches. This is a run and shoot type stuff with the post and the switch. So what's the common theme with a lot of these? A lot of drags, a lot of digs, and a lot of posts between your medium and your passes. Let's look at the play action. It says we got, what's it say, 8? We got more than 8. I'll just go ahead and tell you now. It says we got 2 boots and we got 6 slides. So I love slide. When you got that offset tied in, you're going to find a lot of slide and inside zone split. And it says we got 6 of them here. We got screens, 14 supposedly, but we actually got more than that. Notice most of these are these RPOs we looked at earlier. Flanker screens, it says we got a couple, and we got a wide receiver mid screen. But if you go over to play type, you go to pass, and you go to screen pass, we technically got 13 total screens that are not RPO related. So you add that 13 to this number down here, 23. That gives you what? 36 screenplays, because an RPO is a screen of some sort for the most part, not all of them, but you got plenty of screens to work with. Then you go back up to pass. We got 38 play actions, true play actions. That's actually a high number for this small of a playbook, but this is what you're doing. Inside zone, outside zone, maybe a little power, a little counter. Then you're throwing over the top with all this play action. And it's all those same routes we just looked at earlier, those comebacks. I see a dig, I see a post, I see the same ones over and over, a crosser, same ones over and over again. Let's look at the runs in a different way. We got 30 inside handoffs. Again, your run game starts here. build off your inside run game, and then you go to the outside, and you got 10 outside runs here. Some of those with those sweeps built in. We got a couple pitches. Those are those 7 counters we looked at. We got those 5 draws. We got a fullback run, and we got a basic QB run, which is QB sneak from goal line. Option, this is not an option playbook. You got 13 of them. Most of them are read options. You got a couple speeds, but that's kind of it. Do not pick this playbook if you're going to run a ton of option. But do pick this playbook if you want a simplified RPO game. We got plenty of them here. We got the 3 reads, we got those 9 peaks, and we got 11 alerts. So 23 total RPOs. So if you like that type of passing game that I mentioned with all those drags, digs, posts, and slots and whatnot, then you throw in your comebacks and things like that. But if you like a nice little diverse run game with plenty of inside zone, and my favorite, outside zone, because it's so rare, throw in all those RPOs, I think you're going to have a really good time with this playbook. Again, it's not overwhelming, not a big playbook at all, but it's got a lot of fun concepts that I enjoy personally. So if I wanted to run a basic spread offense, this is probably what I would go with. I really like it. I'm glad somebody recommended this playbook and wanted help with it. So thanks for that. And again, if you like a lot of 11 and 12 personnel look, again, there's plenty of it in here, but I also like this sneaky little formation right here with the 2-back look. As you see right here, split slot offset, that is an entire mini scheme all to its own. Really cool stuff. I could talk about this for another hour, but I don't think you need me to. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.